All right. So compound themes. We are going to review very quickly the topic itself. Yeah. So just one by one, you tell me what you remember. Yeah, because today we see examples. So we need to see how much you remember, right? So hello, Iris. How are you? Good morning. So I will ask you one by one. Compound. We're going to start with Georgios. So compound period. Anything you know about compound period?
Not by heart, but if I think about it for a minute, it will become. It has the same, must have the compound basic idea on the first four, and then on the bars 9 to 12. Compound period. Could it work with the sentence? Could it work with the sentence? Yes. So, how do we call the new basic idea if not compound basic idea? You know what I mean? Could have an antecedent instead of the compound basic idea. Not antecedent, a presentation.
Yes, the thing is that we can have, we're going to review them all, yeah, so you have it all perfectly, then you organize everything. So we're going to go one by one. So compound themes, you have compound period. First question, what can you have to start? So what can be the beginning of your compound antecedent? What can it be?
What replaces the basic idea, basically.
It could be the compound basic idea, it could be an antecedent, or it could be a presentation. The question is why?
How do we call this, however?
Initiation functions.
Okay.
Initiation functions. Yes. The initiation functions. So it can be presentation, antecedent, and compound basic idea. But the question is why?
Why? Four bars. These are the 4 bars phrases we know.
Yes, indeed. Exactly. And then in the second one, what can you have only? In the
Cadential. Or continuation.
Exactly. Why?
Standard leads to cadence. Because it's the end of the compound antecedent. It needs a cadence.
Because you need a half cadence. In a compound period, you need a half cadence.
Did you not see that there is a case where there wasn't a half cadence?
Yes, it's an exception. Yeah, but no, in general, you will look for a half cadence. Yeah.
That's for the period in general. Yeah.
Exactly. So then, the presentation plus continuation, we are going to go very quickly. The reinstatement of the basic idea at the beginning, because you have the basic idea twice, right, is perceived as a repeat. The return of the proper basic idea happens in the consequent. Remember that the concept is the return versus the repeat. Repeat is when you have something next to each other, and return is when it's intervened with
something. The basic idea.
Sorry?
So we still call it the basic idea.
Yeah, we still call it the basic idea. It's the basic idea, exactly. It's a compound basic idea by definition, yeah, but not necessarily, yeah.
But compound basic idea is a specific term.
Yes, it's basic idea plus contrasting idea. But in this case, the presentation is not a compound basic idea in the sense of Kaplan, but it's still, yeah, a basic idea which is made of 2 elements rather than 1, right? So it's not the compound basic idea as such, yeah, you're right. But conceptually, it's the same thing. Yeah, the idea is to have something that we can repeat entirely. Is to have an initiation phrase that can return. The basic idea, that's a good difference to make. The basic idea is not an initiation phrase. Yeah, the basic idea relates to the concept of motif, not to phrase. The basic idea, not the compound basic idea, but the basic idea.
2-bar basic idea.
Precisely. The compound basic idea could be considered a phrase, yeah, because it's actually, but not the basic idea, right? So in that sense, the initiation function, yeah, is the one which needs to return in the compound period. Needs to return, so it needs to have something in between and then come back. The same as it happens in the normal simple period, right? Okay, then you have, and why, that's why all these three options actually work, yeah, because in as far as they come back, yeah, the presentation, the antecedent, or the compound basic idea, in as far as they come back and they return, yeah, they are actually complying with the requirement of the compound period, yeah, it's a matter of size, yeah, it's a matter of size, that's all, it's not a matter of content, conceptually speaking, yeah, it's the same thing, it's just, you understand, it's the same thing, but it's just larger, yeah, in terms of larger and slightly more complex, but conceptually, if you remember what is a period, with one or two hand changes you should get to the compound period quite easy, yeah, which is not the case necessarily of the compound sentence, which, remember, it was slightly more motti, the compound sentence. So the concept of compound basic idea makes perfect sense within this framing. The propelling expressive qualities of this theme type make it perfectly suitable for opening large genres like the symphony and the concert. So the compound presentation, open-ended initiating unit, is immediately repeated in the context of tonic prolongational harmonies. Cadences are not allowed. So the compound basic idea is most often repeated in the dominant. So you have, like, in the same way as you had in the sentence, yeah. It is very rarely literally repeated and almost never sequentially repeated. So you will look for that, for a statement response. Antecedent, consequent, or statement response. Without cadence, there is no antecedent consequent. You know why? It's making the clarification. You understand why?
Without the cadence, no antecedent consequent.
No, but why could be a confusion between statement response and antecedent and consequent?
Statement response.
Think about the structure. We have compound basic idea twice. How is built the compound basic idea?
You mean like twice, one after the other?
Yes. You have it repeated.
Not in a period, in a compound sentence.
Forget about the macro structures. You just have two compound basic ideas, one in the tonic, one in the dominant, one after the other. Why that could be confusing at the first sight?
Because we might think it's a period.
Exactly. We might think it's a period because the basic idea is repeated twice, right? But without a cadence, there is no antecedent consequent. Yeah. So therefore, we label this phrase as an open-ended statement response compound presentation. We label this as an open-ended statement response compound presentation. So the compound presentation, what does it have? Two compound basic idea. Even in the presence of dominant harmony in the statement response. Even in the presence of dominant harmony in the statement response. This leads us into a very confusing territory, which is what we consider the cadence and what we don't. Yeah. So if we have two compound basic ideas, and both compound basic ideas, one is in the tonic and one is in the dominant, one might think, yeah, that somehow the first one led into the next one. Yeah. But it doesn't happen like that. Yeah, it's like in a fugue. Yeah, in a fugue we can have tonic, yeah, in a subject, and then have it in dominant, and not necessarily a cadence in between. Yeah, so this is somehow brings us back to that way of dealing with harmony. Yeah, without a hinge. Yeah, so we are presenting two different thematic elements. So continuation. It fuses with the cadential function to end the theme in any of the three possible cadences. Its fragmentation tends to go for 2 measure units at least to start with. Yeah, obviously, if we are in a much larger framing, yeah, we will need 2 measure units of fragmentation rather than, yeah. Remember, when we have the basic idea was 2 bars, we kept one different. Compressed continuation. It is common to see, this is very important for you to spot the compound sentence. Compressed continuation. It is common to see compressed continuations form measures long It is common to see ECP, extended cadential progression, supporting continuation cadential phrases. In this case, the composer generally repeats the continuation or adds a post-cadential section as to restore the proportions of the compound theme. Yeah, in the case of the compound period, the symmetry arises naturally from the structure, yeah, because you are repeating something. Sorry, you are returning to the initiation function, which occupies 4 bars, yeah, naturally. So then it's easy because we are set up to do a continuation that lasts for 4 bars from the simple themes. Yeah, in the simple themes, continuations last 4 bars. Remember, so we are not doing anything out of the normal, yeah, by finishing it. But in this case, we have to do something out of the normal, which is to make a continuation that lasts for 8 bars. We've never done it before, yeah. And the same happens to the composers, yeah. One naturally doesn't do it, yeah. So then, it's what we are being advised to be aware of is that the continuation might be repeated, or the continuation might be structured as an ECP that is repeated, or it has a post-cadential function, as to keep the 16 bar sort of thing going on. Yeah. Standing on the dominant, if the sentence ends in a half cadence, we are going to see examples, don't worry. But if the sentence ends in a half cadence, the composer will enhance the effect by adding a standing on the dominant. This post-cadential material reinforces the dynamic energy associated with the instability of ending in the dominants. Remember at the beginning we said, just 1 second, let me take off the WhatsApp, that's it. Basically, I got distracted. So, standing on the dominant. Basically, the idea that we mentioned, that the compound sentence is propelling, so it's the perfect companion to start a large musical form, like a symphony, like a concert, like something like that, concerto, is reinforced by the idea that you can even end in a half cadence, and after that you can even end in a standing on the dominant. Yeah, so by far the rockets of the musical initiation, the musical themes, yeah, this one, the compound sentence, which is expectable, yeah, from a further complexified, yeah, complicated, a further complicated theme that comes from the sentence that is already propelling itself, yeah. And the last thing, the consequent function, reinterpreted as continuation. It is fundamental for the compound consequent to feature the return of the basic idea. This is about the period. Yeah? It sometimes happens that the basic idea seems to have returned earlier, but it is normally compensated with the fact that the basic idea returns in the tonic when in the consequent, while the basic returns in the tonic when in the consequent, while the basic idea must have been repeated in a random harmony beforehand.
Easy for the sentence again. I didn't follow. Sorry.
No, don't worry. I will check it out myself. So the consequent function, reinterpreted as continuation. Let me just check it again. Yeah, it can happen that the basic idea, one might feel that has came back earlier in the theme. Imagine that we are doing the compound sentence and we enter in the continuation, right? So in the continuation, okay, so we have compound basic idea, we have it twice, yeah, and then continuation. So then in the continuation, in the compound basic idea, one might think in the second one that the basic idea returned earlier. The basic idea, not the compound basic idea. The basic idea returned earlier, yeah. But it only returns in the tonic if it's in the consequent. It wouldn't be in the dominant. Yeah? And therefore, the consequent function can work as such, yeah, because it doesn't matter that you have it before, yeah, it could still work as such. Anyway, just a clarification. Okay, so we're going to go, that's fine. So we're going to go into the very clarifying examples, right? So let me just see 1 second. Okay. All right, so we go straight away to examples. And we go to the first one. We're doing piano sonata in A flat. First movement, bars 1 to 6. All right. There we are. Actually, I think I will open it. No, I will open it here. Just 1 second because my computer is a bit slow. That's it. Give me 1 sec and I set up everything. So, go here. Okay, so there we are. You don't see the screen, so I will share the screen. There it is. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Good. So we listen to the piece, the beginning. There we are. Right, so we start. Okay, so what can you see, first of all, harmonically speaking? In which tonality are we? Anyone? Very good, very good. And then the basic idea, what can we consider the basic idea? Laura, Iris.
I'll say the first 2 bars.
The first 2 bars. Very good. Contrasting idea. The next 2 bars.
No.
No. Exactly. Until where?
Until the slack, so
Until it's there. Exactly. So we have clearly, and harmonically speaking, what are we in front of? So we have A major here, then we have Si, Mi, La, Re, Mi, La. What is this?
Si, mi, sol. De la appoggiatura.
Again? Exactly. La appoggiatura.
Si, mi.
Exactly. Si, mi, La appoggiatura. So Si, Mi, Sol. So what do we have?
Mi sol será dominante.
Dominant in which inversion?
Second.
Exactly.
Mi sol si.
Very well done. Good. And then we get into here. What do we have here? Laura. So I help you. La, la. So the first one is the tonic.
And then we have the dominant again after the E flat, G, B flat, and then in the next bar it's the tonic, and then it just goes tonic, dominant, tonic, dominant.
Exactly. And if it goes tonic, dominant, what is it? It is. In terms of a cadence.
It's a half cadence.
Yes, it's a half cadence, precisely. So then, okay, then we continue and we get into, so then we have basically basic idea, contrasting idea, ending in a half cadence. So we have the building blocks of what?
Normal antecedent.
Yes, exactly. Why?
All the elements are the basic idea, contrasting idea with the half cadence, 4 bars.
Precisely. The half cadence is the most important thing. And then we have this element here, which is like a hinge element, yeah. And then we enter in this other bit, yeah. So let's see what we have here. What harmony is this one?
That's the second support in first inversion.
Subdominant in first inversion, yes. And this one?
Tonic. In second inversion.
Yes. It is mi, la, do, okay, in second inversion, right? Very good. And then this one?
That's second.
This one is a second, but it, okay. And the next one?
Of the dominant.
Yes, but this is dominant of the dominant. This is important.
Yes.
This is dominant of the dominant because it's a second seventh. Yeah, so we don't call it second seventh. We call it fifth in first inversion of the fifth, actually.
Yeah.
And then this one, Laura, that you're very silent.
That's the tonic.
Yes, very good. That's the tonic. In what inversion?
First inversion.
Yes, precisely. And then we continue into Georgios.
Oops.
Yes, and then Iris.
You said my name, right?
Sorry?
Did you say my name?
Yes, I did.
Oh. Just sounds capsulated. So I'd say it's a fifth as well.
We have sol, fa, si, re. Sol, fa, si, re. Imagine we are in C major, right? So what chord is it? Take off all the accidental notes. So sol, fa, si, re. What is it?
But it's a flat, no?
Yes, it is. But still, sol, fa, si, re is sol seventh, right? Now we have some flats there going on, but still, yeah, it is sol seventh. Yeah, so sol seventh.
Full diminished.
Sorry?
Full diminished. Diminished seventh.
Diminished, okay. And then the next one.
It's the seventh of the tonic.
It's the seventh of the tonic.
And then it goes to tonic.
Okay, it goes to the tonic. And then
well, the fact is probably the leading note, but or not.
basically, or not, yeah. Or actually, we have a skip. Yeah, so We have a skip and we have a chord which is prepared because we have the mi that is going to be here.
Seria appoggiatura.
It could be an appoggiatura.
It is appoggiatura. F sharp A natural is the appoggiatura. The G B is the real note.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. But coming from the previous, we go from tonic to
dominant.
To dominant, exactly. So then we are in phase of
half cadence.
A half cadence again. So half cadence again. If we have half cadence, what does it mean in terms of the structure? Taking into account that then the idea returns, the initiation.
Big antecedent, compound antecedent.
Exactly. And actually, at this point, we can already take the risk of saying that. Why? Because we have two half cadences. Remember that in this type of analysis by Kaplan, it's all about the harmony. It's a lot about the harmony, actually. It's about the syntax as well, but it's a lot about the harmony. So harmonies will lead these structures, will define the structure. So half cadence, then possibly, yeah. Everything seems to point out to a period, to a compound period. So, all right. And then, well, we have the same thing all over again, yeah? And then we will have, again, the continuation, but, Laura, can you describe what happens here, please?
Some kind of cadence.
Yeah, and then it's all important to know which one. So, which cadence? This one.
Is it just a perfect cadence?
It is indeed a perfect authentic cadence. Perfect authentic cadence. And that's the ribbon that you needed to seal this compound period. Yeah? So you have cadence, perfect authentic cadence. Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
half cadence, perfect authentic cadence.
They're all incomplete. There's no subdominant.
There is no subdominant, no.
Consistent. Interesting.
Yeah, you have the first and second inversion, you have me, yeah, and then you have the fifth.
But no subdominant. Yeah.
Let me see.
To call the second.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if we can consider that something else, but we.
Maybe it's G, so C, but no, not really.
Yeah, we could.
Because the real note is the first one.
Look, this bit. We could try. Yeah, it's somehow the La relates, yeah, a bit to the.
Then what is the previous, the first?
This one. Yeah, it's the same thing actually. Let me see. No, because you have, look. Clearly the fourth. Clearly the first in second inversion.
Yeah.
And then we have. I mean, it's just an open, it's a non-harmonic element, but it can recall, taking into account that he did it before. Yeah, naturally, yeah, the brain can, it's not the fourth, but It somehow has a subdominant feel. Yeah, that element there.
It is leading to the dominant.
Again, sorry?
It is leading to dominant.
It is leading to dominant. Yeah. Anyway, so first example. Yeah, so we have half cadence, half cadence, half cadence, perfect authentic cadence. What we end having? We end having a compound period. Right? All right. So we go to the next one. Let's see. Actually, we could go to another one. We're going to go to this one. This computer is just blanking the pages and I'm never finding what I have to find. So here it is. There we are. All right. So let's listen to it first. All right. Now we see. 1 second. Okay. So we go one by one. Okay. So, how do we start? Who can do the first two bars?
Basic idea.
The first two bars are basic idea, precisely. And then the second two bars, Laura?
Is it just a contrasting idea?
Yes, it is. And what's the tonality behind it?
Is it the fourth?
Yes, the fourth. And what happens in the last beat?
It's trying to modulate.
Okay, and what's the chord?
Is it some kind of 7?
It's a diminished 7. It's a joker, yeah, so we can always use it to go anywhere we want. And when we don't know anything better, we just place there the diminished 7th. All right. Curious?
It doesn't even go anywhere, it's just...
It stays.
It's like it was going to go to B, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it comes back to G. But why it comes back to G? Because we needed to build up what? So what happens in bar number 4? Do we have a cadence?
No.
No. So then, that was very cleverly placed, so we can end having what in the first 4 bars?
Tonic prolongation.
Exactly. Therefore,
Base.
compound. Exactly. Compound basic idea. So, Iris, what happens at this point?
So we have a continuation.
Indeed. And what's the chord?
So the dominant,
The dominant. In what inversion?
second inversion.
Which one?
Second.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Well done. And then, what's the syntactic process going on here, from here to there? So basically, we don't have the basic idea, we don't have the contrasting idea. What do we have?
We have fragmentation.
Yes, indeed, we have fragmentation. Very good. And then in this section here, all the paths lead me to Laura. So, Laura, this section here, chords.
Four.
Yes.
And then one. So it's going to a cadence, isn't it?
Yes. So we have re, sol, si, and then we have here what?
What do you mean? What chord?
Yes. If you go, forget about this beat, just tell me what is this. Re, fa, la.
Oh, it's a
Re, fa, la.
five.
It's a fifth. So the big point is the big point made on the tonic or on the fifth? On the dominant.
The dominant.
Yes. Therefore, what is this in relation to a cadence? What cadence is this one?
A half cadence.
Yes, it is. It's a half cadence. Okay, very good. So, then, we continue. It is. Well, we are going to have yeah. So, what do we have here?
We have the returning.
The return. Is it the same?
I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's a basic idea.
Yes, it's a varied return. Okay, good. So that varied return, does that varied return keeps the same harmonic layout or not?
Yes.
Precisely or not?
Exactly the same.
Very good. So then, Georgios, can you just finish this? Yes, analysis.
Let me see exactly what this is. After that, the anchor continuation, which is again, is it similar to the previous? Yeah. Same focal points.
Yeah, the focal points. So
Yeah.
we have a difference
Do we?
in the chords, right? Let me see if I'm right or wrong. Just 1 second.
The first two bars, no.
No. Let me just check one second myself, because sometimes I get not that. No, it's fine. It's okay. No,
Some of those first two bars of the continuation fragmentation.
Yes, we can, because the fragmentation in relation to the new varied version of the compound basic idea.
No, even in the first continuation, bars 5, 6, can we call them fragmentation? Because they are kind of like one thing. You know?
Yes,
It should
they are.
be fragmentation, but
Let me, yeah, they are, but they have something which can allows us to do fragmentation, because
wait, you can see.
you can see.
I can see the melody.
Sorry. Let me just go up. Look, the appearance of the dotted quaver semiquaver.
Yes.
Is interfered by this, but then it's not.
Yeah, not only that, the melody itself is, the sol should be a note of lower. So I'm talking, and I assume you know what I'm looking at. It is do, la, fa, ra, re, si, sol. So it's exactly the same, but the sol just went not higher. And then in between is just passing. It's not. I see. Cool.
And it happens sooner. It happens sooner than before. So then we can say that it's actually a fragmentation. So yeah, you know what happens? Sometimes we commit a mistake, is that we think that the rest doesn't have any role, but the rest is there. So this whole idea includes the rest, and here, right, the rest is represented by these connecting quavers. Yeah, so but still, yeah, if you consider, imagine that they were not there. So you had just the rest. Yeah, you would have had this and this, which is the same as this and this. Yeah, it's a clear fragmentation. Yeah. All right. So then, okay. So let's finish it. The last two bars. Let's finish the last two bars. So, Georgios, harmony. First beat.
The next bar.
This one. No, you're right. This one. Sorry.
La. So we are so second, first inversion. Yeah. Then first, second. Yeah. I'm crazy.
No, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
And then dominant comes first with tonic, and then the real dominant. Yeah. And then
so perfect authentic cadence.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So this is yes.
Sorry. I mean, what's happening with the previous bar? And the first time the previous bar appears. Why the left hand? So re, si, re, mi, si, sol, si, parallel.
Where?
That bar you're pointing at?
Yes.
Your mouse. The left hand. So re, si, re, mi, si, sol, si. But just what? That never happens. Why does he do that?
In terms of in the syntax, you mean? You mean that?
They call themselves, we are nitpicking now, talking about the details, but it's like parallel fifths. So then...
No, but this is in the Alberti bass. It's no problem. Yeah. Yes. But it happens all the time. It happens, but let's say something in his favor as well. When we analyze the parallel fits, we should analyze them between the strong beats, right? So in the strong beats, there is no parallel fit. You have G, D, then you have E, G, and then you have B, F.
Yeah.
Maybe here. Actually. But the Alberti bass will always produce sort of that, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. So.
Okay. But if it was all the rest, it would be, we could consider it chords. We consider them, and they make perfect sense. But this specifically, only with Alberti bass, we can excuse it.
No, but yes. Well, yes, but actually, if you strictly read it as Alberti bass, there is no parallel fit. Because you have sol re, then you have re si, then you have si re, then you have re si, and then you have mi sol.
The Alberti bass is not one voice going up and down. It's three voices.
Yes, it's true. It's true. So it's hiding a parallel fifth.
Yeah.
In the chord.
I guess is this Mozart?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's the one who have the Mozart fifths as well. He doesn't mind them so much, I guess.
He uses them a lot, but in the horns. He uses them a lot constantly.
That's a different case, of course. But he uses in other cases parallel fifths, and he excuses them easier than the rest. I suppose.
Yes.
I can assume. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So yeah, but it's good that you picked up on that because it reveals that you are paying attention. So okay, good, very good. Couple of questions. Let's see if you are. Let me see. Well, we have read it also. Okay. So look, we take 10 minutes break now. And yeah, it has been already 45. So we keep 10 minutes break and we continue. Yeah, we were going to do the homework. Yeah, then let me think, because maybe we continue. I have so many examples to share with you that I don't know if to do
the momentum.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, let's do just 5 minutes break. Yeah, and then we continue. Yeah, that's it.